A great chance to talk about the Special Olympics, which, by the way, is not seasonal, it's year-round. Yeah, one of my favorite charities is the Special Olympics. I'm a contributor, you're going to find out from our spokes guy here this evening, the boss of local Special Olympics in Rhode Island, that once you're in, you're hooked, and it really is the case. Great to have you in. Our state of mind tonight is either a vacation day for your chubby host, or it's a holiday of some kind. Whenever we get a chance to get away from the daily grind of the rundown and the issues and our shorter, more compelling, combative conversations, it's like a breath of fresh air for us. And tonight we're going to focus on the Special Olympics. We've got a great dad-son team in the unified category of competition. And if you don't know what that is, stay tuned. I think you'll enjoy that. If you don't know a lot about Special Olympics, you should. Let me give you a small graphic here on just in general what Special Olympics Rhode Island does. 25 Olympic-type sports serving 2,800 athletes participating in more than 18 or 16, I'm pretty sure it'll get to 1,800. I can't read without my glasses these days. That's a lot of competitions. And of course, you can always learn more about what Special Olympics is doing at SpecialOlympicsRI.org. Dennis DeJesus runs the operation and has been a guest on the program back in early February, and he comes back to talk to us at length about the project. Welcome again.
Thanks, Dan.
Good
Thank
to
you
see
very much.
Once you're in with Special Olympics.
No doubt. We get you to an event as a volunteer, as a sponsor, as a unified partner. You're coming back because you leave that event 5 feet off the ground because you know you're doing something really, really good and you feel good about yourself.
How'd you get involved?
I was the recreation director in the city of Cranston back in the mid-'80s, and we had an event at the Cranston Stadium, and I was so taken by the work done by the organization, I approached the executive director and I said, if there's ever an opportunity to serve on your board, I would welcome that chance. And I was given that opportunity, became vice president of the board, then president of the board. Then I left for about a 10-year period, did some other things, and when my predecessor decided to retire, he came to see me. He said, I think you're the right guy. You've got that fundraising background. We need to go in a different direction as far as fundraising goes, and I think you should throw your hat in the ring. And I did. Never looked back. It's been the 5 greatest years of my life.
It's a big business.
It is a business.
It's because it's a big operation.
Yeah, people like to say nonprofit is a tax status, but it's not your philosophy or your strategy. We have to raise about $1.4 million a year to make it all happen, to keep our athletes busy and keep them involved. So it's up to us, tremendous board of directors, a great staff, makes it easier on me. But I consider myself the head of development. I'm out there trying to raise that $1.4 million to make it all happen for our athletes.
The history of Special Olympics began in the late 1960s with a special lady.
Yeah, Eunice Kennedy Shriver back in 1968. The founder had a sister, Rosemary, who was intellectually disabled, and she worked very, very closely with Rosemary, and that was her beginning of her love for those with intellectual disabilities. And her first competition was in her backyard, and before you know it, there were 50 programs in the United States, all under the banner of Special Olympics. Then it turned worldwide. And today, proud to say, 4 million athletes, 120 countries throughout the world participate in Special Olympics.
Talk to me about how you talk to the athletes about their status or their condition or their diagnosis or all that kind of stuff. When you talk about disabilities so freely, and intellectual disabilities are somewhat misunderstood, and it's a societal growth opportunity there, I think. But how does that all work?
I think they educate me. I think they're the ones coming to me and talking to me about their disability, how they have persevered through their disability, what opportunities they had growing up, bullying, the R word, a lot of negative connotations as most of our athletes, as they have grown up in our society and locally, and I guess it's a story that's being told throughout the world. But now they've been given opportunities, and when they get that opportunity, they seize on that opportunity, and they perform at the highest levels. They train, they compete, they excel. We have athletes who have traveled all around the world competing. The athlete you're going to meet today and talk to today, Ian Shepherd, has traveled all around the world. performing and competing. And he's a great ambassador, not only of Special Olympics Rhode Island, but Special Olympics USA. So our athletes educate. There's a lot to learn from them, and they are true role models. They really are.
So when people get involved in the Special Olympics, either by contribution, I mean, it's one thing to write a check, it's another thing to hang out and actually to be involved in the whole thing. It takes it to a whole nother different level.
Absolutely. At State Games, for example, down at URI, it's our most visible event of the year.
In fact, we should put up some information on that. I think in June, I'm absolutely certain this show is going to air before the June date, and so folks should want to get down to URI and see what's going on. You're going to have 3,500 athletes, what did I say?
That's the national one.
That's the national one? Did I mess
We
that
have-
up? Which
I
is
think
what?
we have about 1,400 athletes that go down to URI.
Oh, okay.
May 30th, 31st, June 1st.
Okay.
3 days. By the way, URI, tremendous host, really tremendous host. They go down there to compete, 2,000 volunteers. And those 2,000 volunteers will come back year in, year out. You see the same faces. They mark their calendar, would not miss Special Olympics Summer Games down at URI. And it says something about a lot of professionals, Credit Union Association of Rhode Island, Gilbane, the banks, all turn out on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be there to support the athletes. Couldn't do it without them. I say
That's a big operation you're running.
backbone of our organization are our volunteers. We only have a staff of 10. So our volunteers are the ones that get it done on a regular basis. And again, we talk about competitions, 1,600 during the course of the year. That takes into account all of the basketball games, all of the football games, volleyball, individual events. So we're busy, we're going.
All right, so when we come back, we're going to meet a Special Olympics athlete, his dad. They compete, I guess, individually and together.
Unified Sports
Yeah.
is a sporting competition where our athletes partner and go about their athletic endeavors. And it's a great story, and it's a story of two men who are really committed to the mission and vision of Special Olympics.
I think he does his job well. That's a great tease. Don't go anywhere. Just some of the fun and frolic that goes along with fundraising for the Special Olympics. This is for the torch run this past March, or this happens in March every year, where they plunge. These people think they're all courageous and everything else. This is not the one that goes in January. The one that goes in January, the Penguin Plunge, is the big fundraiser for the Special Olympics. I don't know why I'm mouthing off. I haven't jumped in the water in March or in January. But I shall at some juncture. And speaking of the water, all the way up from Newport to our East Providence facilities are our next guests. And Ian and Mike Shepard are here, and they're unified athletes. And we'll talk about that in our next segment. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Dad.
Thank you.
When we have this set like this, I'm kind of like back and forth, so bear with me. You are what kind of athlete? What do you do?
I do a lot of sports in Special Olympics. I do basketball.
Yeah, how many points per game do you average? Who knows? Or do you keep that stat?
I like to score like 6 or 4 points or 8 points or something.
It's more than I averaged in high school, so maybe we'll play a little one-on-one sometime. You can teach me a little bit about how it goes. What else? What else?
I do skiing, and then in the springtime I do volleyball. I do track and field. I do cycling, and then in the summertime I do unified softball, I do unified sailing, and then unified golf, and then in the fall I do croquet, I do flag football, and I do soccer.
Is that it?
And then I also do I'm also on the board of Special Olympics, and then I also, like I said to Dennis earlier, I also do the cameraman for our TV show, Rhode Island Special Olympics Magazine.
Which is on Cox, right?
Yeah, Cox Channel 5.
All right. I'm exhausted. You've been tracking this the entire way?
I drive them everywhere, so I'm exhausted.
I bet you do. You do what for a living?
I'm a retired firefighter.
Okay. And so, tell me the story of being involved with Ian and his athleticism. Where did this all start?
He started Special Olympics about 2001.
Yeah, 2001.
And we went to first we started out in basketball and soccer, and then I would sit in the sidelines, watch what was going on, and his coach at the time, and still is, Lisa McKay from North Kingston, fantastic coach. And eventually she snagged me to help her out with soccer, and I absolutely loved it, coaching, and I just snowballed into skiing and volleyball and softball and basketball, golf, everything. And
So-
I absolutely love it.
So, I'm guessing this is kind of for you guys, it's kind of a around the calendar endeavor. I mean, you don't ever slow down.
No.
There's a week go by where you don't have something going on? Sort of? No.
Christmas, that's it. 2 weeks in Christmas.
Just
around
Christmas.
That's when everything shuts down.
So
and that's
tell
it.
me about the world travel. Where have you been?
I've been to Japan for skiing in 2005. I've been to China for golf in 2007. And then last year I went to Korea for skiing.
How does this all happen? How does he get the world access?
well,
I mean,
he-
other than his skills, obviously there's got to be a requirement of skill in order to be a world traveling athlete like this.
There is a requirement. There are requirements that Rhode Island Special Olympics has, and when they have 4 years, just like the regular Olympics, Winter and Summer Olympics, they do the same thing, but at different time periods. So Team USA will come to Rhode Island and say, okay, you have so many athletes, these are the sports you're going to participate in. Well, Ian's been fortunate that skiing at his level is only 1 or 2 other athletes. So they all take turns going to the different games around. But Ian travels very well, so he takes all the Asian countries, and the other athletes take the
How do you fund all that?
it's through as Dennis was saying, through all the donations. The Special Olympics Rhode Island pays for all that.
So, okay, so your contributions help in this kind of effort as well, not just what happens here locally, but there's a budget to send the athletes who are representing Rhode Island Special Olympics and the USA around
Correct.
the world.
Yes.
That's great stuff. What's been your favorite trip?
My favorite trip's probably been Japan, because the food was delicious over there and everything started on time. And
Isn't there a lot of fish? A lot of fish in Japan.
yeah, a lot
right?
of sushi.
A lot of
I
sushi.
ate a lot of sushi in Japan.
You like the sushi?
Yeah.
You put the hot stuff on it?
No, I don't like wasabi sauce.
Yeah, I'm just blown away by the amount of travel and the amount of accomplishment that's going on here. When we come back, we'll talk about the accomplishments and we'll talk about the realities of this. This is hard athletic work. Do not underestimate what goes into being a Special Olympian. Stay with us. Look at the numbers of sports, and this is just a partial list that are offered in the Special Olympics, and it just goes on and on and on. And as Dennis DeJesus told you in the first segment of the broadcast here this evening, that this is a project that just has grown by such leaps and bounds, it's almost incalculable. The summer has the national championship, and this, I think, is going to be Ian's. This is going to be your first national championship, correct?
Yes, it is.
So when you go worldwide, you're competing. If you just tuned in, Ian and his dad here are unified athletes, and we'll explain how that whole thing works. But the national championship in New Jersey, it's in South Jersey. That's not really Jersey. For a North Jersey guy, I'm telling you, it's not really Jersey. But it's at Rider and at Princeton. My sister went to Princeton, so she went to Rider actually. Anyway, 3,500 athletes, 1,000 coaches and delegates, 10,000 volunteers, 70,000 spectators. I mean, this is the real McCoy. So you travel worldwide at special events, but you've never done the National Olympics.
No, never.
So what are you going to compete in the National Olympics?
I'm going to compete in unified volleyball.
Okay, so that's the thing that's got you two guys hooked together. And describe what unified means.
Okay, unified is you take a sport like volleyball, and you have a mix of partners like myself or high school athletes that know how to play the game. They come in and we play alongside the athletes at the same time on the court. And what we're doing while we're on the court, we're coaching them all the time.
Okay.
So it's really a benefit that while they're out there playing, they're also being coached
Right.
one-on-one all the time. So right now, volleyball, there's 6 players on the court at a time, 3 partners, 3 athletes. And we have them all mixed up, so for anyone, when they make a play or if they have to do something else, you can go right over to them and tell them,
Even during competition.
even during competition.
Same thing on the Olympic level.
Yes.
So I mean, on the National Olympic level, when
Yes.
when it's all for the big marbles, you still have that kind of nice touch where
Yep.
you can still be instructing as you're competing.
Right there on the court, rather than yelling from the sideline.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. But it's still competitive.
Very competitive. The level, the team we have from North Kingston, we have some very high level athletes, and they compete in high level basketball, volleyball, track and field.
Volleyball is a first of all, it's a fun game to watch at high speed. What's your best? Can you spike it?
Oh yes, I'm a good spiker.
Good spiker. Can you dig? I mean, I think the hardest move in volleyball is digging out a spike and getting down and making. You can be as low as the ground.
That's called bunting.
Bunting.
Yeah, bunting. Yeah.
Okay, this is not digging. Well, what's a dig?
Digs like you said on the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah, on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a hard game. Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. You enjoy it
Yes, I do.
more than your golf?
Well, I enjoy all my other sports.
Yeah, it seems. I bet you. So you don't want to choose one. There's no one favorite.
Well, my most favorite one is the cycling and sailing.
Now, where do we do that?
The
Obviously,
s-
cycling and sailing is easy in Newport,
the-
right? Just take
Same
Ocean
thing,
Drive.
yes. Yeah.
The cycling we train at Quonset Point, and then we have the competition over at URI near the agricultural farm,
Mhm.
and then for sailing we practice on the Navy base.
Okay. The whole program is just so incredible. And yeah, listen, Special Olympics, whatever. It's a regular this 28 years old, regular guy, big smile, obviously accomplished as an athlete. I'd hang with him, So I don't. How do you deal with the whole mix of the disability levels and give me a little short essay on the realities for people.
I found Dan after all these years is you treat them just like we would talk to each other. Don't treat them any different because you treat them exactly like an adult or like an adolescent, and I'll tell you, they love it.
That's it.
They
Do
love
you
it.
know that you have a disability?
Yes, I do. I'm a little autistic.
Okay.
I have a little autistic in me.
So, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But with that comes features that you and I can't grasp.
right.
What some of the autistic people have is we will never grasp that.
There's a level of brilliance
Correct.
that comes along with autism that is, that's why they call it the spectrum, because it goes a lot higher than you and I do
Yes.
from time to time. But the idea of father and son being able to compete at this kind of level must be a thrill for both of you. Gotta be.
I mean, he just keeps me in shape with just doing all this stuff.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
At the end of the day, what should people really know about Special Olympics that they may not know?
I guess, like Dennis was trying to say, if you go there and you get involved, you're just hooked. And what you get is when you coach Special Olympics sports, you don't have the like coaching Little League or coaching that where you have parents, you have it. It's
No
not.
politics.
There's no politics. If you say you got to come out of the game and you have to go in, but he played more than me, you don't get
It's
any
not
of that. Yep, okay, coach. And
In essence, it's pure.
it's pure. It's absolutely pure.
All right. What do people know? What should people know about Special Olympics, Ian? What's it done for you?
It has me had fun in Special Olympics and getting to compete with other athletes on teams and representing my community and my state.
Well, you've done a great job of it. Good luck in the Nationals.
Thank
Spike
you.
a few for us, dig a few out for us, and bring it home, will you?
We'll try.
All right.
We'll try.
Congratulations. Your state of mind when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. You know that you can respond to anything you've seen on this program. Now, when we have a longer show, we call them evergreens during holidays or days off, there's less compelling controversy. But if you've got some thoughts on Special Olympics or anything that happens across our desk here, your state of mind, leave us a voicemail at 228-1886. Email me at stateofmind@myritv.com, or of course you can tweet or Facebook post at Dan York Show, Y-O-R-K-E. I should throw up one more time. I just want you to, so if you want to make a contribution to Special Olympics, and you should, if you can, there's the information for you, specialolympicsri.org. It will, and again, all the money in Rhode Island stays in Rhode Island for guys like Ian to keep competing, all right? And by the way, if there's anything on your mind via your state of mind that you think we ought to showcase here for these programs, and we've got a longer day, and we probably are recording over the course of a year 40 to 50 of these kinds of shows because we're on every night, and I ain't working every night. So it's a great time for you to kind of showcase your organization, your event, or your special idea for Rhode Island, because you know I'm still looking for that big idea for Rhode Island. You have a great night. I'm honored by your presence. We'll see you next time on My State of Mind, weeknights, 7:30 on MyRITV.